Hey there. Now, a question I get asked a lot is, how do I actually price my art? And it's a good question because I see people that charge very little and people that charge quite a large amount. And to me, they look very similar. And I kind of wonder, how did they get to that price, right? So I think one of the first steps to take, as like myself, I'm still pretty much a beginner, is first of all, we need to look at the actual cost. I mean, actual cost. Now, I've always done sort of ballpark cost, this, analysis, materials, and time. But there's a lot of other, doing research for this video, I saw and see that there's a whole lot of other things that I didn't even consider. So I'm going to go over that list in this video very quickly at the beginning, but then I'm going to apply all those associated fees and costs with an example of my own piece to see what the cost is and what I should be charging for that piece. But then I'm also going to compare that to a tool that's available, a pricing tool, that all you have to do is answer a few questions, upload the image, and it'll spit out a number of what it feels that value, what price you should be charging people for your piece of art. So we'll go over that. I hope it's going to help you. And we'll start with that list of actual costs, because you might be leaving money on the table, or you might be selling it for a lot cheaper and than it actually costs. And you can't put food on your table if that's the case. So let's get to it. Let's start looking at that list. Alrighty, let's go down that list. And I like to look at it as an iceberg. Most people just look at the tip of the iceberg, but there's a whole lot of other parts to the actual cost. So the first tip of the iceberg, you have your materials, breakdown of all your materials. That's pretty quick and easy, as well as your time or your labor. How much do you value your hours or your time? Multiply that by how many hours it takes to make the project. You have your labor cost, which now brings us down to the other part of that iceberg, hidden costs, such as operating costs. So here I'm in the garage, I pay extra for the electricity. That would be considered an operating cost. Software, I pay subscriptions and buy software for the laser, also operating costs. Then brings us to marketing, depending on if you're paying for ads or if you're going to shows and you're paying for your booth, things like that. That's all be considered marketing cost. Most artists may not have this cost associated, like wear and tear on, like in my case, I have the laser, obviously had to buy the laser, and then there's, maintenance and wear and tear, and eventually I'll have to replace it. So, and then we have like a workspace overhead situation where you might be renting a studio somewhere instead of being in your home, and you have to pay, rent and part of the fees associated to all that stuff. So again, there's other things where you have to, you also have to drive there and back. So it's like that's all other extra costs that you should be considering. And then there's another part that a lot of people don't think about, is the cost after your sale. You think, oh, I sold something and I just getting the money now, I just pay off all those other fees. No, you also have to pay there's fees in regards to selling. If you're using online services, there's commissions that you have to pay for that. If you're in a gallery, there's commissions there. Stores, there's always commissions and fees that you have to pay. So just keep that in mind for after sale. And the other part of the after sale is packaging. If you're mailing things off or even delivering, you might need to put it in a box and wrap it. So your boxes, your tape, your bubble wrap, things like that all add up into your full cost. So then you're looking at the full picture of your iceberg, taking all those costs, and it should be per unit if possible, so that you really have a good understanding of how much it will come out to. And so gives you an idea of what I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to go look at this as using my own example of a piece of art that I've done in the past and see where it comes out. So let's get to it. Now, in order to save a little bit of time, I didn't go through all of the calculations to break down, but giving you the totals here, like the materials came out to $74. The cost of labor is $1,200. That's probably the biggest one. Operating cost about $100 per piece. Marketing, I'm going low here at $25. Wear and tear on equipment, about $100. Not really using any studio or anything like that, so I put 0. And then I put fees about $330. And packaging $10. So the grand total comes up to about $1,839. If I want to make a profit, I'm going to add 30%, which brings us to about $2,400. So that's pretty high. I mean, I like it. So, but I'm going to try it with that pricing tool now to see how well it does or how close it comes to giving me a price. If it's going to be similar, is it going to be way lower, or is it going to be way higher? Let's give it a try. Okay, let's get started. So this is with an organization called Public Display Agency. I've done a show with them in the past, and they have this tool that you can do price your work. So all you have to do is create an account, and here they start asking you some questions. You know, whether you're just aspiring, like thinking about doing art, or are you engaging? Have you been doing artworks, and to the point of that you're professional and that you've had training and so forth. So you just go through the questions, you add, try to sort of answer them as I guess as true as you can in order to get a proper outcome as well. So I put in here art practice. I do about maybe 20, 24 hours. The rest of the time I'm trying to do videos and woodworking and other things. But I try to put quite a few hours within the making these art pieces that I do. And it also asks you, how much training have you had? In my case, it's more self-taught, watching videos and learning things. And of course, with the woodworking laser machine, I've been doing a lot of work with that in the past too. So I've already had some training. And of course, here it gives you an idea of what you can get for the free trial. But there is a fee for service if you wanted to continue using this tool. Again, you just go in there, you add, your title and your sizes and all a few details. It's not too complicated. That's what I kind of like about it. So this piece was about 50 by 30 inches and mixed media. And that's where it's here. It's more of a canvas, but down below you can choose a mixed media. So once you've got that entered, you just have to upload your image of the painting or work of art that you've done. So here's where you can choose the mixed media, as I mentioned, choose that. And then overall material cost. So these are like the tip of the iceberg price cost that I mentioned earlier. So material cost, I rounded it up to $100. I think originally in my estimate, I had put $74, but here I put 100. Here I put about 24 hours of work to put in and the time, and here's the number that it spit out, $2,200 versus what I calculated was about $2,400. So a little bit off, but I guess, with a little bit of tweaking and figuring out, it might come out a little bit different. But I think that's pretty darn close, for something that just takes about 2 minutes to fill in the information. This tool does work quite well in the end. All right, well, that was pretty cool. I was really surprised to see how close it came from my own calculations to compared to that of the pricing tool. I was really not expecting that. I thought I was way overestimating the price of my piece until I tried the tool, and it kind of gave me confidence that I am pretty much in that realm, I guess, in regards to pricing. Thanks for those who asked that question. It really made me stop and start looking at the numbers and seeing that. I really appreciate that because now I have a better idea and I see how well the tool works. So again, I just need to maybe tweak my answers a little bit just to be a little bit more honest. I think some places I might have, just for sake of trying it out, I may not have taken the time to really focus in on all the details in regards to answering those questions, but hey, it came pretty close. So I hope that answers the questions to some. I hope it helps people. If so, and of course, I'm going to leave a link down in the description for that pricing tool if you're interested in trying it out. Again, I'm not a sponsor, just trying to help out this organization that helps other people out, other artists, to share their art in the world. So check them out. Again, they're called Public Display Agency. I'll leave their link also, as well as the link to the pricing tool. And as always, thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you back here. Now, this video was made after I was about to make a video about how to sell my artwork, or where I'm planning to sell my artwork. But before I did that, I figured, hey, it's probably better to figure out what I'm actually going to charge for these pieces before I try to sell them. So next video, or one of the next videos, will likely be me trying to figure out or showing how I plan to sell my artwork in the future. Hope you come back for that. Again, do so. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you here back at Dusty Workbench Art. Take care.